Please like and comment on the video below. That will allow me to produce better quality videos and more of them in the future.
So this is an interesting video that I recorded this week, and it is talking about, well, it's not I'm talking, the video is showing how I'm dumping a position. Now, I don't consider this to be a particularly easy market because we've got two favourites interacting here at very similar prices, and you can see the second favourite's being backed in and the favourite is actually on a fair drift here. So initial assessment of the market is that that's probably going to continue. But the problem we have on these types of markets is that very often you'll find that they interact so heavily that when one starts to move, the other will move really, really quickly. So they tend to be slightly harder to trade. I'd prefer to have a market where there was just a clear favourite and there wasn't a second horse at a very similar price, because the interaction is so strong that it's very easy to make a mistake. One starts to move and its price activity will immediately influence the other. However, I am trading this market. We're looking for an opportunity in this market, and I think that the opportunity initially is to back the second favourite because it looks like that's going to continue. You can see I'm assessing, I'm waiting and looking for that opportunity, and then you'll see in a second that I'll actually jump in and start doing something. So a bit more activity has come into the market here. I'm looking to see if this activity is going to continue. Just adjusted the refresh, had it on a slightly slower refresh than I prefer. And so I enter the trade into the market. So you can see I'm establishing a position here, and I'm just trying to get a decent position into the market and ride the wave as the price starts to come in. So that all looks pretty good at the moment. And obviously if we want to see the price on the second favourite come in, we need to see the price on the favourite go out. But at this moment in time, things are looking fairly rosy. We've done a fairly decent job here. Now, naturally, in every market, you'd expect it to bottom at some particular point. So what I tend to do is start putting in closing positions at or around the level at which I think the market will go no further. So I'm looking at the market, assessing how far I think it's got to go, where I think it's going to stop. And then when I feel that I have identified the point at which that's likely to start stopping and going in the other direction or just plateauing, that's where I tend to pitch the closing trades. So we're doing all right on this particular position at the moment. And you can see I've just dropped in a trade there because I feel that we're getting to the point where that momentum is beginning to stop. And I'll need to gently exit my position now. So I'll start putting in some other trades. So you can see me wiggling the mouse around there, identifying what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking of. So pop in some of the closing trades. And you can see I'm looking closely here at the activity in or around this level. It's quite a lot matched at 238 and lower. And we're keeping an eye on the volume to see what's happening. And then you can see there's a certain amount of laying activity coming into the market there. So it's at this point that I'm beginning to feel that perhaps I've let this one go. And it's very important that you don't look at the market and then sort of say, well, my profit is down here and that's where I want it to go. It's important to identify now and again that you're going to get things wrong. We're heavily in. Can you see that big order that came through there? So that is an alarm bell. That's basically saying this is not going to go back down there. That is the point at which you need to get out, because basically whatever you thought when you opened that trade has radically changed. We saw it get stuck at 2.4. It never continued down. It reached 2.5 and then a large lay order came in and pushed it well away from its price. So I just dumped the position. The most common problem, now the thing is, because we've got two interacting favourites here, all of a sudden that's set that off in that direction. So of course the opposite is going to happen to the favourite. That had drifted a fair bit, now that's coming in and it's just about to go below 2s. So if it crashes below 2, then the opposing trade is on the favourite. But the most important thing that we've done here is we've dumped that position on the second favourite because we realised that we'd made a mistake there. Well, we hadn't made a mistake. The trade was okay. We didn't get out quickly enough. That was our mistake on that one. And we could have sat there and waited for the trade to come back, which is what a lot of people do, but we didn't. We just unemotionally just went, you know what, we've messed this up. The opportunity's gone. Boom. We're getting rid of it. But we can now see there's serious momentum in the other direction. And in a market where there are two runners at a similar price, this is very often what you see. So you can see that the second favourite's shooting out, and that is immediately transposing the opposite move to the favourite. So we've just jumped on the back of that to see if we can get a little bit of activity on there. But we're sort of running out of time. And also we can't expect in the same way that we saw on the second favourite for this to go on forever. So I'm being a little bit more cautious here because of the limited amount of time we've got left. And I'm pitching those closing orders a little bit closer to where the price activity is. You can see I've cancelled it there because I feel it's going to go just that little bit lower. So I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can with the time that I've got left, and we've been matched there. So it's unlikely that we'll make a loss here. So it's just a question here of do we, where do we put that final closing order? Do we wait and see if the momentum is going to continue? And you can see that I'm gradually, there's only 20 or so seconds left. I'm going to start feeding those orders back in, and you can see me just adjusting the net stake to close the position out there. And then we just have to wait for that position to be filled, and then we can hedge our overall trade. So we could have done a lot better. This is why I record videos, so I can go back and review them and understand what went wrong. On this particular occasion, it's when it breached 2.5 and that large lay order came in, the position went sour, but I was quick to dump it and still managed to pick up a decent trade on the favourite because, of course, the pressure on the second favourite, especially in a race like this where they're both similar prices, was inevitably going to help push the price on the favourite back in. And we did end up with a profit, but the most important thing we did was dump a position that had gone wrong.